Hey y'all, a friend of mine, he got himself a brand new Woodlandmills HM126. It's a sweet sawmill, I'll tell you that. But he's been having a little bit of problems, so I'm on my way up there to help him get him on the right track with it. He's never ran a sawmill before. He's been throwing blades, he hasn't got his tracking right, etc. And we're going to get it all dialed in for him. And I ain't going to shoot that part of it because it's just too much of a pain. But y'all will get to see how it runs afterwards. And I'll give you a little bit of talk to on the way through as it's running.
Yeah, the idle seems kind
But
of
in the
low.
meantime, if you like this kind of
It
content,
could be.
how about go ahead and hit that subscribe button in the bottom right hand side of your screen that you see there. Make sure to ring the bell too to get future notifications too.
Yeah, give it a thumbs up, boys.
It's believed by many that HarborFreight is a copycat of the Woodlandmills. And I'm one of those many that believes that. But one of the things that they didn't copy Woodlandmills on was the locking device for the sawmill carriage. As you can see here, this setup that they have, I'd like to duplicate that. I think it'd be pretty simple to do. It's a lot better setup than the HarborFreight sawmill where you got the clamps down on the post that don't work, they break, they don't grip well. And so when you're cutting, the sawmill carriage can be slowly lowering at times. Sometimes those clamps work, sometimes they don't. So anyway, that's where I'm at with those. I'm going to duplicate that setup.
So I think we're going the wrong way. We want to get down to 13 and a half. Also, you want? Now this is lowering it. Yeah, we want to lower it. Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. We want to go the other way. We want to be 10 and a half. Right there should be the inch and a half. I think so. Yep. Ready? Yep.
that's different from the Woodlands mills and the HarborFreight sawmill, actually quite similar, is the T-handle. On the Woodland Mills T-handle, they have a nut welded on there that you can put a torque wrench on there, and you can set your band tension with that. You set it to 25 pounds. The HarborFreight does not have that nut on there to use a torque wrench on there, which I find to be quite happy, you know, with on the use of his to set the tension. Worked really good. The problem was, you know, the biggest plus for me to get to help him set this thing up and get it dialed on in. A lot of stuff I was not familiar with, how things should operate, and messing with his saw, I learned a lot about my saw. My tensioner, the T-handle, it was binding up in there, so it took a lot of power just to even twist it. You know, I mean, it didn't just turn freely. So all this time I've been fighting that on the tip. Not really fighting it, but I had to put extra strength on into it to turn it. It wasn't horrible bad to turn, but it was a lot tighter than it should have been. I was able to go on in there and figure out what was making it bind, and I was able to correct that situation. And now mine turns just as freely and as easy as the Woodland Mills does. I also was looking at my handle to see if I could weld a nut on there, and that is another drawback to the HarborFreight sawmill. I have an arc welder, and it burns pretty dang hot at times. It has surges, so it'd be extremely difficult to do this, to weld a nut onto that T-handle of mine. I'll have to revamp that, but make my own T-handle to go on there so I can weld a nut on there to make it work exactly the same. But right now, to weld something on there, I just burn holes right through the handle. I'd ruin it. But that's something I need to work on. The other thing that I am going to improve on, instead of putting a nut on mine, I'm going to actually just weld a socket. I'll get an impact socket, you know, so it's not one that's already chrome or something that I can weld I weld a half-inch drive socket on there. So all I got to do is just put the torque wrench on there. I won't have to find a socket to fit. I think that will be a plus, a step up over the Woodlands mills. Another feature that I really like about the Woodlands mills is their measuring stick that they have. It's a magnetic strip that goes on there. You can slide up and down. With the HarborFreight, well, it only has a 6-inch measuring part that you got to adjust and constantly move up and down. And then, if you're not using the measuring deal, there's the needle that gets in the way that cranks and it bends the rod, and I don't really even want to get into it. But, you know, the deal that Woodlands Mills has, I think, is a pretty sweet setup. And this guy that I'm showing here, his sawmill, he gave me one of his extra magnetic strips. So I'll be able to incorporate that onto my sawmill too. And I'm looking forward to that, because it's a lot better setup. The one problem that he has had is getting it adjusted into where when he's cranking it up and down, it's not rubbing on that magnetic strip. And so it just needs a little bit of fine tuning, but it's still.
Got the shaky hands, folks.
Now another thing I want to compare is the Kohler motor on the Woodland sawmill versus the Predator on the HarborFreight sawmill. Now I know that's not a fair comparison, folks. It really isn't, because this Kohler on this here motor is on the sawmill is a 14 horsepower, and mine's an 8 horsepower. So really, you can't compare the two. But you can. And I'm going to do that here. First of all, one thing that I have noticed is the Kohler motor is not as noisy as the HarborFreight's Predator motor. I'm not bashing on the Predator. You know, it's a lot cheaper motor. Probably won't last as long as my guess. But it's still doing good for me. But it is quite a bit noisier. Another thing, it doesn't seem to me, even though this is a 14 horsepower, it does not seem to me that it cuts any faster when you're cutting small timber, small lumber. Now, when you're cutting something that's larger than 6 or 8 inches across on your cut, I do notice what of a difference it does cut through that a little bit faster, a little bit better. But that's the minimal differences in my point of view at this stage of my game on reviewing the two. I may change my mind on some of this a little bit later. I got some more comparison to do on that, but that's just my take, is that really size doesn't matter to some extent for the hobbyist. On the commercial cutter, the guy that's wanting to cut big wide planks and stuff, heck yeah, size does matter. But I'm thinking, for the most part, I think my 8 horsepower is very adequate for what I'm doing. I don't think increasing my sawmill, I could get another Predator motor and put it on there that would be larger. I don't think it would push up my production enough on the cutting that it'd be noticeably different. And that's my take on the two. Now, I will tell you, I do believe that the Kohler motor is a lot better built motor. But outside of that, I don't think that the size of the motor really matters, for the most part, the hobbyist miller. Also, there's log clamps on here. And as you're about to see, I had to jump up and go running on over there and stop him. He was fixing to cut right into that log clamp, and you gotta watch this stuff. The other day I was up there at this place and was working on a sawmill again, and the backstops on the logs, whatever the bunks are called or whatever those are. Well, we wasn't watching close enough, and he had quick reaction. I'll have to say he did have quick reaction. He barely tapped on into it. As soon as he heard it, man, he yanked back real quick. So I mean, he was right on top of it. Didn't it destroy his band too bad? Matter of fact, actually, he finished cutting with the saw doing that, and it wasn't horribly dull. You know, it's good enough where a person could hand sharpen it, and then it ruined the blade. I was impressed. He had quick reflex on that. But this here has got the upgrade of the log clamps. Like mine, you see me where I take the hammer, I bash it on in. It's got a T-handle, you can tighten on into it and stuff.
That could have been a nightmare.
And they work. But he's got the upgrade of the log clamps, and I really like those. I would like to get a set of those. They're about, I think they were 85 bucks a piece when I looked at them. So, you know, and I want to get 2 of them. He's wanting to get another pair too. You know, 1 more because so you have different positions to put the logs on if you're running short logs, longer logs, or whatever. It'd be handy to have another one for him. But all I want is 2. Is I can get by with log clamps clamps that I already have if need be for that type of purpose. But those log clamps are sweet. I really do enjoy them. They're really handy. But make sure you leave a comment and snicker, you know, about where we had to stop and where he almost ran into that log clamp. That's $85 replacement. Not that he would have to replace it, but make sure you snicker at him. All of us Sawyers have done something stupid like that, haven't we? Anyway, so yeah, you'll appreciate the good humor there. Come on, man. Click this link over here. Click either one of these links up here. Come on, man. It's for your own dignity. For your own dignity, you'll click one of these links here. You'll watch another video of mine. You gotta do it for your own dignity. Come on, man. For your own dignity. And you can also click that subscribe button down there. Yeah, click that subscribe button right down there and ring the bell for future notifications. But for your own dignity, come on, man, watch one of these videos. Either one, either this one here or that one down there, either one. Just come on, man, you gotta do it. It's your dignity here.